Good evening. Good evening. How y'all doing tonight, man? It's Mike. It's been a while since I've been on. I had to handle some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Take care of some personal things. And and I'm back tonight. I just wanted to come on and talk about some sobriety today. You know what I'm saying? Today is um August 4th, and we're gonna go over the thought of the day, the meditation of the day and things of that nature, man. I hope everybody's out there enjoying themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely got some things going on, but the Most High always pushes me through, and he same thing he'll do for you guys too. Just make sure you put him first, man. Um, I want to thank everybody out there that has been coming on and following my thought of the days in the morning, and um, just following different podcasts and different people that come on to try to carry the message of sobriety, try to carry the message of from pain to purpose, and some of the basketball things that we did. You know what I mean? It's just important of me just trying to really carry the word of God and really have some fun in the process. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start off tonight by reading the thought of the day and talking about that. The AA thought of the day. We in AA are offering a kind of psychological program as well as a spiritual one. First, people must be mentally able to receive it. They must have made up their minds that they want to quit drinking, and they must be willing to do something about it. Their confidence must be obtained. We must show them that we are their friends and really desire to help them. When we have their confidence, they will listen to us. Then in the AA fellowship is a kind of group therapy. Newcomers need the fellowship of other alcoholics who understand their problem because they have had it themselves. Individuals must learn to re educate their minds. They must learn to think differently. Do I do my best to give mental help? Yes, I do. And it's very deep what they was talking about, man, because you know what I'm saying? When you look at it, the psychological part is very serious too, because that person, first of all, the person must be sober minded for them to be able to understand what we're talking about in the beginning. Like being sober minded, like you're not going to be able to get nothing through to somebody who's still drinking or who was currently drunk when you're having a conversation. So the person must be sober minded at that time to be able to even take in what you're trying to talk about. You know what I mean? Then they got to be willing to receive the information and be willing to want to change. Like, and that takes a person to be broken. You know what I mean? I had to be broken for me to be willing to take the suggestions of what everybody was telling me to do. My sponsor at the time, he was like, "Do you want to feel better?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you got to do what I'm telling you to do, and that's how we get it done." Now, if I wasn't in that desperate state, I probably wouldn't have did it. That's why when you're dealing with people in this, they have to be in a desperate state for them to really be able to want to get the help and want to change. Because change only come where the fear of where you at overrides the fear of where you going. The pain of where you at got to be so much that you don't even care about where you going. You just got to go and be somebody different. A lot of times we don't change because we don't even know who that new person is, and we don't even know if we're going to like that new person. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how other people are going to react to that new person. We don't know. So it's more comfortable staying the same. So the psychological aspect of the person, people must be um able to and willing to receive the information. Next, that confidence must be obtained. And we gain that confidence by, I start off by telling them about me, about what I went through. I let them know my story. And then if they're alcoholic, then they'll be able to most likely connect to some part of my story and be like, all right, this guy understands me. Then once they feel like that they understand me, their confidence is going to be growing and they're going to want to share more information with me. And then once they share the information, we got the ball rolling and we could talk about some things and get some things done. You know what I mean? And then they gotta understand that I'm just there to help them. And that's what my job is, because by helping them, I'm helping myself also. You know what I mean? Next, um the fellowship is like a group therapy, because when you come in, it's a group and it's people in different levels of the group. So you got peoples that's a newcomer like you when you come in. You got people that got um maybe like 1 year to 3 years. Then you're gonna have people that got like 5 years to 10 years. Then you got people that's newcomers that's coming in. Then you got people that's old timers that got like 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? So when you're hearing all of the people's stories, you get a different aspect of the recovery process. You get to hear from people in different stages of recovery. And so when you come in early, it's good to just sit and listen and take in the information, so you can understand how to get through certain situations that you haven't even faced yet. And when you see the uh the old timers, then you understand that the program really works. When you see somebody that have 30 to 40 years, you understand like, yo, this thing really works. Like, I could really do something with this. You know what I mean? It gives you hope that it could work. And also, when you come in, and especially in beginners meetings, we need the newcomer to share, so we could get the information from them, so we can understand um how it is out there now, so we don't have to go out there and test the waters anymore, because the newcomer then told us what's going on out there. So our newcomer is telling us what's going on out there. We don't have to go out there and get drunk again to try to really um experience that stuff all over again. So the therapy session is there. I learned so much when I came in as a newcomer, man. I learned how to have some patience. I learned how the importance of the meetings. I learned when it was time for me to be quiet, you know what I mean, and not share, just listen, because I thought I knew stuff, but I really didn't know nothing, because only they reminded me, only thing you know how to do is get drunk. You don't know nothing else. You get what I'm saying? So as I went to certain meetings, I listened, and then at the beginners meetings or certain other meetings, I talked and shared. You know what I mean? And I was a little hard headed in the beginning when it came to that, but then I started to understand more and more, and I understood where it was coming from. See, because you have the old school people that's in AA, and then you got the new school people that's coming out of rehabs, and the rehabs tell you to share, 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 and then you have the old timers telling you to be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, and listen. So you have two different formats of the way the people perceived the meetings, and sometimes that clashed. But I started to see that them old timers knew what they was talking about, because a lot of people that just came in there and was talking, 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 next thing you know, they was out of there. You know what I mean? And then you'll see them coming back in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And while some of those old timers that said that they listened in the beginning, they was sticking and staying. And that's what it's about, sticking and staying, man. Then it says, individuals must learn to re-educate their minds. They must learn to think differently. They say we come for the drinking and we stay for the thinking. We come for the drinking and we stay for the thinking, because our thoughts are so twisted, but it seems so rational and normal to us. And that lets you know how sick we are. You know what I mean? Something that I would have tried, or I did before, and if I tell somebody that's sober, they'll look at me like I'm crazy, but to an alcoholic, it sounds real rational. You know what I mean? I remember, and I always tell this story. It was a guy, I heard him say that he had got he had went on a honeymoon before, and he got with his wife, and his wife was pregnant and stuff, like 7 months pregnant, and he told one of his friends to get a room right next to his room, so because he knew his wife was gonna be going to sleep early, and then he could go out and party and do what he wanted to do. Now, to the average person that has morals and really know God and care about things, that sounds crazy. But to an alcoholic like me, I would have tried that. I would have told one of my friends to come on to the um, honeymoon with me. Then they could have got a room somewhere, and once my wife would have went to sleep, we could have went out and chilled. It's selfish, it's self-centered, but in my mind, it sounded logical and something that I would have tried, probably took a chance on trying to do. That's That's the sick thinking of the alcoholic. That's why our thinking had to be done again. We had to be retaught to think differently. And the only way we could do that is doing those steps and letting the spirit enter us. And then we'll start thinking different. We couldn't do it on our own. The Holy Spirit had to come in and take over us for us to be able to think different and do different things. That's the whole process of thinking different because, like I said, we come for the drinking and we stay for the thinking because we got to change our whole mindset, man. The mindset we had was just totally selfish and self-centered, and now I've been transformed, coming to the mindset of thinking about other people first. How can I help them? What can I do to make their lives easier? Who can I help with sobriety? That kind of thinking takes over, and that becomes our total aim for life is to please God and have Him point us to the people that He wants us to help. That's what the whole reason we living for right now. You know what I mean? But it take a whole process to change that whole thinking from being selfish and self-centered to being that kind of person. Now I'm gonna get to the meditation of the day. All right, the meditation of the day. And this is life eternal, that they may know that it is how the flow of life eternal through spirit, mind, and body that cleanses, heals, restores, and renews. Seek conscious contact with God more and more each day. Make God an abiding presence during the day. Be conscious of His spirit helping you. All that is done without God's spirit is passing. All that is done with God's spirit is life eternal. Oh, wow. I was definitely happy when this came a part of my life, man. Just connecting with God daily, getting up in the morning, spending a lot of time through prayer and meditation, just praying and thanking Him for certain things, and then saying prayers to protect me and my wife and our family against different evil forces that might try to come attack. And people might think that's crazy, but you don't really know it's so many evil forces that try to come and attack your family during the day. You know what I mean? Um, and then you got to be able to uh yeah, those evil forces will come and take over, and then things could become a problem, man. And if you're not protected with that prayer in the morning, gotta have that conscious contact, man. That conscious contact with Him by praying and then adding fast into your life. You know, I mean, I pick a day a week to fast now, and it just brings me closer to Him. Just trying to die to my flesh and sacrificing my desires for Him brings me closer. So then I'm able to really see things and operate in the spirit. You know what I mean? Because there's always a battle when you wake up in the morning. That spirit against that flesh, and that flesh be getting mad because that flesh want to win. Like when we was young, they had the cartoons, and on the cartoons, it'll have the guy on one hand with the spirit on one shoulder, the angel, and then on the flesh, it'll show the picture of the devil, and he'll have on red and this, and that's that flesh. And the flesh is telling you to do it, and the spirit is like, nah, man, we don't supposed to be doing that kind of stuff. And that flesh be wanting it, and that spirit be telling you to deny it. And that's how it is in real life. So in order, whatever you feed that day, that's what's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? So when I used to feed my flesh, that's what used to win in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you go on the IG, you start looking at different things and things of that nature, and then that flesh is out trying to win for the whole day. You go on there, and then and now you start looking up scriptures, and you start praying, and you start fasting, you start listening to different music and things of that nature. Then now that spirit is winning. And then when you operate, and people are going to be able to see you operating in the spirit, and then it'll cause people to come up to you and be like, yo, what are you into? That's because it's about attraction more than promotion. People would rather see how you living than what you telling them. You know what I mean? So you're going to attract more people like that. And that's why it's important to try to operate in the spirit. and staying away from willful sin. You know what I mean? We know what willful sin is. We know like things that we really don't have no business doing. But a lot of times we love to do it because it gives the flesh instant gratification. And we just love that feeling of instant gratification. So you got to ask yourself, like, do I love the instant gratification that much to deal with the consequences that come along with it? Because especially if you in this truth and you seeking the Most High, you go out there and you play trying to get that instant gratification, and he gonna bust you right in your head every time. So you got to ask yourself, I can't keep playing this game and then repenting and telling him to forgive me. I just got to stay away from it and walk away from the sin. But living in that spirit with him and trying to chase what God wants you to do is the total aim in life, and it's the total job that I wake up trying to do. Trying to figure out what he wants me to do, where he wants me at, and trying to get closer and closer to him. I had to take the Facebook app off of my phone because it was distracting me too much. Now I'm back to reading more. I'm back to doing things of that nature. So you won't see me trolling no more and messing with people and just doing stuff, just having a little fun. But it started to distract me a little bit. Looking at those reels started to distract me a little bit. The old college basketball and pro basketball interviews on the podcast, all that stuff started to distract me, and I noticed I wasn't being as productive as I needed to be, especially doing the work of the Most High. You know what I mean? So many times I was on there, I could have came on here and did like a 20-minute joint on sobriety or about God or about life or anything, just carry some kind of message that he would want me to carry. And that's just like where I'm trying to aim at for now. You know what I mean? And so sacrificing the pleasures, he loves it when we sacrifice that kind of stuff for him, to try to be more obedient and to try to let him know that he's the one that's in charge. You know what I mean? And so I just wanted to come on today for a quick uh close to 20-minute joint just to get a little message out. I hope that this message today touched somebody, and most high willing, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. Shalom. Enjoy the rest of your night.